Yes, extremely challenging, but he seems to be the first person who is able to stand up to Netanyahu. And this has given other American people the courage to speak out. And in fact, for the first time, the American people are openly talking about Zionism and its influence on our politics. American Christians are pointing out that the evangelical Christian Zionists appear to worship Israel, not to worship God. Our American politics have been geared toward Israeli interests. We see every time there is trouble in the Middle East, Netanyahu comes to America and makes the statement that Israeli interests are American interests, Israeli enemies are American enemies. And we believe this is not working anymore. The American people are waking up, and it is the American people want to be a friend to all nations. We want to be a friend to Israel people, to the Palestinian people, to China, to Russia. We are tired of the last 40 years of American expansionist aggression. We are bankrupt. We can no longer afford this. We are $36 trillion in debt. Our military budget is over $1 trillion a year. And meanwhile, at home, our roads and bridges are crumbling. Our poor people are suffering, and our institutions can no longer serve two masters. Are we going to serve the American people, or are we going to be beholden to the wishes of Netanyahu and allow the American military and the American government to be a arm, a wing, a tool of Netanyahu? And we even see that Netanyahu is meeting resistance among the Israeli people. His cabinet is crumbling under the pressure of his policies, which are no longer working even for the Israeli people. The entire world can no longer bow to
or
one
tolerate
man's political ambitions. And the American people have finally we have finally said we are not helping the people of Israel by allowing them to continue doing what they want to do without consequences. We're in a situation where the world, even Jews around the world and other nations, are looking with alarm at what is happening in Israel. And the American people can no longer allow Israel to continue down this path because we are not helping them. We are now hurting them by allowing them to bully their neighbors and become a partner. America is losing our reputation on the world stage, and we now have to correct course for our own good, even for the good of Israelis, but also for the greater good, and to finally end 75 decades of failure and start a new course. So once again, this is a pivotal moment for the world the next few weeks, and the American people are relying on our Arab partners to come to the table with a deal and deal with Trump and embark on a new course.
This is the whole point of the visit. And I mean, making a statement saying that 50 years of failure is a very strong statement from you, Mrs. Ginger. I think it's very true at the same time. Now, Dr. Osman, from your perspective, what are the main security challenges that the U.S. and Gulf states face today?
As I've said before, the Gulf region is a net exporter of oil and gas, energy. So it is one of the major energy hubs in the world, one of the major energy producers in the world. So any disruption of the security and the freedom of navigation in that area will have detrimental consequences on the global economy and on the U.S. economy. The U.S. economy is always very affected, like all the economies in the world, especially non-oil economies, that by the rise of oil prices. It raises inflation, it raises the prices of everything. So the United States has a vested interest in maintaining the security and the stability for that region, and that has been the geopolitical focus of the United States for the past 80 years, at least. So I think this is the major U.S. concern, security. And with this regards, the U.S. still maintains de facto unwritten security guarantees to many Gulf allies, to many of its Gulf allies in the region. They have also the deal they have reached with the Houthis in Yemen does guarantee that there will be more calm on that front, and also the de-escalation with Iran serves to diminish the chances of conflict. Had a conflict broken out between Iran and the United States, and now that is becoming an ever more distant possibility, thanks to the level-headedness of President Trump and him not relenting to Israeli pressure to bomb Iran. He decided to take the diplomatic pathway, and I think so far it's yielding results, and they are reportedly nearing a very convenient deal with regards to Iran's nuclear program. This program was a source of concern to the Gulf allies, as they do not want to see an Iran armed with nuclear weapons, so that removes the prospects of an Iranian nuclear arms program, and at the same time it avoids the idea of entering into a war or a confrontation with Iran that will definitely affect the Gulf, because Iran will basically retaliate against U.S. interests in the Gulf region. So it seems that they have a joint vision, security vision with regards to security concerns. They also are cooperate a lot on issues of counterterrorism, and this is very well known, and that there is a strategic security relationship between Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and the United States in terms of counterterrorism. So it seems that there are a variety of security issues that will be discussed by both sides. And of course, the Gulf region wants more U.S. arms, and the U.S. wants to sell more arms as well to the Gulf region because this will benefit the U.S. arms industry and the U.S. economy. So it's a win-win situation.
Definitely.
And I think that the relationship between the U.S. and the Gulf region will develop ever more and be ever smoother after this Trump tour.
Mrs. Ginger, what concrete security commitments is the United States seeking from Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Qatar during this trip?
Yes. Well, as my colleague has pointed out, hopefully the conflict, the issues over Iran's nuclear development is something that, as the experts negotiate, this issue will become it will be cut down to its right size, because as we have seen, the issue with Iran was never really the nuclear weapons development. We knew our own CIA, our own director of intelligence has said publicly that Iran was not developing a nuclear weapon. Once again, this was just a tactic on the part of Israel to demonize Iran for their own ambition, for Israelis' Greater Israel Project ambitions. So as we have the experts negotiating over Iran, this issue should be cut to its correct proportion, and we can then move on to issues of security guarantees, ongoing energy agreements, and trade with our Gulf neighbors and partners, for example. And this is what the American people are worried about. We do need long-lasting, enduring security agreements that are going to last for more than President Trump's term. This is the problem. We saw that in 2018, Trump withdrew from the JPCOA. And we do not want the type of situation where another president can come in and withdraw from the progress that we are making now. So for the American people, it is of the utmost importance that the parties that are resisting this, and we do have parties overseas. For example, we see the EU has resisted Trump's attempts to make peace between Ukraine and Russia, because the EU wants that war going for their power and money. And we see the same thing in the Middle East. There are certain factions that, for reasons of ideology, loyalty to Zionism, they want to see the wars in the Middle East ongoing. They want the conflicts to continue. So it is very important right now for the American people that we tackle our forces in our own Congress, for example, Senator Lindsey Graham, Senator Tom Cotton, John Bolton, these are notorious war hawks that want to keep the war going. They're putting up resistance to Trump. We are hoping that the American people can deal with our own internal resistance and that the rest of the world, for example, our Arab partners can, as they come to the table to negotiate with us, can also work through their internal conflicts, because the entire world needs long-lasting, enduring agreements that will carry us forth for the next 80 years to turn the corner on the past 75 years of failure. So my colleague is entirely correct. We need long-lasting, enduring agreements, and we need each nation to work on our own internal resistance to pivot towards lasting security, economic agreements that bring energy abundance, innovation, economic cooperation, and military and security cooperation. And we will need to overcome the forces of resistance, the naysayers, the neocons, and the warmongers. Each nation has these, and we need to deal with these so that we can all move forward together.